Hello, everyone. This is Brad Noble, and today I'll be talking about the Scopes Monkey Trial for Liberty University's history class 530, and this is our third discussion post. The Scopes Monkey Trial was one that put Christianity on trial. The role of a six-day creation, and would that be taught in public schools still? The Scopes Monkey Trial takes place in Tennessee in 1925, where John Scopes is going to be a teacher. Um, the thing with John Scopes is he wasn't even really a biology teacher. He was a teacher that was willing to be used by the ACLU to further their agenda. So the changing culture in the United States was a very progressive one in the 1920s. And nowhere can this be seen more than in Christianity itself, or in the moral beings of Christianity and the role that that would play in the United States. And one region where this is going to be challenged is the role of science. Science is starting to come into its own, it's starting to be able to prove things or attempt to prove things. And one of those things is going to be creation. Was creation or did creation occur in 6 days? And how did man come about? Was life breathed into man, as the Bible says, or did man evolve over time from other species? This theory of evolution comes from Charles Darwin, and Charles Darwin's theory of evolution is really starting to pick up steam within the United States. So again, the ACLU, or the American Civil Liberties Union, is going to want to change how teachers teach creation in high schools. And John Scopes is going to be their man that they're going to use to try to do that. So John Scopes was a math teacher at Ray County High School in Tennessee who was asked to teach a biology class. Now, he didn't necessarily teach evolution itself, but the textbook that he chose mentions evolution or questions evolution. So he agreed to do this. The state of Tennessee, however, passed the Butler Act, which said that the teaching of evolution was illegal. So Scopes is going to be arrested and put in jail, where he's released on a $1,000 bail. So the trial, though, is going to go from being a small school issue, small town issue in Tennessee, to a national issue when both sides are going to call in prominent lawyers. So William Jennings Bryan is called in to prosecute Scopes. He's going to be the person that the school district is going to bring in to try to find Scopes guilty. And if we remember, we've talked about Bryan before. He was a very prominent person. He had run for president. He's on the national scale. He's on the national headlines. Everybody knows who William Jennings Bryan is. To defend Scopes, Clarence Darrow is going to be called in by the ACLU, and he's a very well-known defense attorney. William Jennings Bryan is going to end up pretty much winning the case because it's pretty clear cut. The textbook mentions it. He's using that textbook. Yes, he violates the Butler Act. However, it was never necessarily, the whole trial was never necessarily about actually the issue of Scopes. It was a larger issue, and it was an issue of Christianity and the role that Christianity could play. So while Scopes is found guilty, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of forgotten that he was found guilty, because the big part of the case comes when William Jennings Bryan agrees to take the stand and defend six-day creation. The problem is, Darrow is able to get Bryan to basically admit that it's up to the person's interpretation what 24 hours is, what a day is. So these things, Darrow is able to get Bryan to waver on a little bit. And in the end, he is able to prove that yes, it kind of is up to interpretation, or Bryan believes it's up to interpretation, which mars and puts a black stain on this idea that it's literal. It literally means the six-day creation. It literally means that God breathed life. There's no way that evolution could be correct. So while Bryan was able to win the case, it ultimately put a black spot on Christianity and the role that it could play in the schools, even to this point where today evolution is the main thing taught in science classrooms, and you can't even really teach a six-day creation theory.